Blue Beetle, another comic book disaster, or was it actually good? Find out in my review right now. All right, hi everybody, how you doing? So I'm not sure if everybody knows my background. So I am an award-winning writer and producer from Hollywood. I just moved to Atlanta. Some more production going on here. Unfortunately, we have the strikes, so nothing's going on at all. So probably not till the end of the year will the strikes be completed. So I look at these films through the lens of my experience with production and writing and things to that effect. I am going to actually start teaching low budget production through the scripting project process all the way through the editing process. So with that in mind, and of course how I hire talent, not only on the acting side, but on the crew side, because that's also, as far as I'm concerned, talent. You don't want to hire somebody that has no talent in their different production departments. So you have your heads of department and etc. So with that in mind, let's talk about Blue Beetle. So Blue Beetle is directed by Angel Manuel Soto and written by Gareth Dunet Al. I'm going to massacre all these Spanish names. Alcocer? I don't know how to say that. And then stars Susan Sarandon, George Lopez, and I don't know if it's Xolo with an X, Xolo Maduena, and Bruna Marquezine. I'm all about messing up these names. So we have a comic book character that not everybody knows. I mean, most people don't know. And then we have a director and a writer that's pretty much done nothing. Okay? So Angel has a bunch of shorts under his name, but not a whole. He has a documentary on Menudo. But for him to get $100 million film like this with effects and everything to that effect, being one of his first big times out of shorts, is crazy. I mean, you already know that the guy got hired because he was Latin. That's not the way to hire somebody. And then the writer is just as bad. The writer's done nothing. And again, really only gets hired because he's Spanish. And he did Miss Bala. That's the only big film that he did. And that wasn't even a big film. That was a financial loss. That movie was panned by the critics and everything. And again, it was an all. I mean, that was marketed as an all Latin crew and cast. So again, we're basing everything on your culture. So I mean, I can see have wanting a director, because we had so much to do with the Latino / Latina culture, the family atmosphere, etc. I can see wanting to bring somebody in, but somebody that has no credits, And as far as the writer's concerned, that I don't understand. You do not have to have a Latin person writing that. What you do is you have a good writer come in and write the thing, and then you have a Latin person come in and punch it up and add some of the the dynamics for the family and stuff like that. You do not have to have a Latin writer. So the way that Mata, who was the person before the current CEO, Zaslav, came in, that's the way he was doing this, I guess, which is a bad move. It's a really bad move. So what we get out of this is a very, very well acted film. Okay, the acting is very good. Of course, Xolo from Cobra Kai. Everybody loves that character. Everybody loves that actor. As far as I'm concerned, it was a good choice. I have no problem with the cast at all. I think the casting overall was good. And Bruna, she was like a highlight for me as well. She was sexy and she pulled off not being the girl boss, but being the person in charge. So she pulled all that stuff off. She pulled off that line and still creating the romantic tension between the two actors and the two characters. So she was able to pull all that off, and Xolo, they did a great job. The sister was a little annoying. I don't know why they try to make the sibling characters annoying, but Belissa Escobedo. And in fact, I wanted to look up Sanchez. That wasn't his name. That was the whole joke. Was that he's got some credits behind him though. He's actually in Strays also, and he did. Let's see, it was Puss in Boots. So he's done some voice acting. I know I recognized him. He has such a small role. And he's in what we do in the shadows. He's in 47 episodes of that. So so he's got a lot of. Again, the acting was not the issue. You got, how can you go wrong with Susan Sarandon? So Susan Sarandon's character has nothing. I mean, literally, there's no character there. It's like, oh, let's do a traditional villain. Let's do a traditional henchman. They do give the henchman a little bit at the end, but that's it. And, we have, and I heard some other reviews on this by Latins that said it was so generic and stereotypical that they weren't happy with it. So if you look at the Rotten Tomato score, it's got 77 for critics and 91% for viewers, for audience. I don't get it. But if people are enjoying it, great, because I love superhero films. But I got to say with this, I was bored. There was, even though we had not all the characters lived in this, and I won't go into spoilers, but even though there was that, I just didn't feel like there was any stakes. Mostly, I just didn't care. I never really got to care about any of the characters. Even the main character, he was good, but I don't know. I don't know what it was that just didn't resonate with me. It just didn't connect. Maybe it was because it just didn't take itself seriously, like, ever. There was a couple of dramatic scenes, but overall, the tone of the film was that it didn't take itself seriously. It was so over the top that it was like watching a cartoon. And maybe that's why I never, and not anything against animation. There's some very powerful animation, but when I say cartoon, I mean cartoony. Like, it seems like a caricature, as opposed to, even Puss in Boots that you would think would be cartoony, actually had a stronger dramatic effect on the story than this did. The power set, and this is one of the problems I've had with the character to begin with. He's able to form just about anything. Plus, we get the Iron Man effect where he's talking, Iron Man / Venom, where he's talking to his suit, and the suit has his own personality. and he's not in control of it at all. And to me, so he's had no training with the thing. He's had nothing that allows him to go into battle except the suit basically taking over for him, where he is just a passenger in his own film. And I think that's part of the problem, is that I never got a hero's journey with this guy, because you can tell just from the trailer, he finds the scarab. He's basically given it to him. He never trains. He never goes through any hardship with it. And the only thing he does is allow it to unleash or hold it back. And in fact, towards the end, it's the reverse, that the thing holds him back. So if anything, the machine, the suit has more of a arc than he does. Why was he against killing? Why did the machine, like Terminator in Terminator 2 is taught to value life, right? It's an arc that slowly, gradually turns, where we see the T-800 or whatever else finally understand, right? And with this, we don't ever get that growth. The script is really bad. as far as anything really granular and grounded in reality and giving us a movement on character development, it's really bad. I don't know how they even greenlit this thing, because on paper, there's literally nothing there. It's nothing there. And, they go into little jokes for no reason. And that's why I think the humor is really made for kids. And if this is a kid's movie, then that's why I'm saying I don't think really know what it wants to be. It's not really a kid's movie. It's not really an adult's movie. I mean, there are kids' movies that adults can appreciate, right? Because they'll give us jokes that are going to go all over the kids' heads, but that's not what happens here. It's not made for anything. In fact, even the trailer, somebody else pointed this out, even the trailers in the beginning had, Paw Patrol and stuff like that, so they had kids' trailers in the beginning, and The Nun and A Haunting in Venice. That's the trailers that were before this thing. So even by the trailers tells you that nobody knew what this film was, who this was directed for. Was it directed for kids or was it not? Like the Avengers stuff by the Russo brothers, etc., those all that original Marvel stuff was made for both, because kids were into it, adults were into it, but it never got silly. There were stakes there. And this just gets silly. It's just silly. And that's why I was bored, because I just couldn't get into it. There was just nothing for me to get into. And by the end, I was just like, let's just get this over with. We already know how this is going to end. So let's just get it over with. But even in the comics, this character is not well liked. The Ted Kord original Blue Beetle is more well liked than this guy is. And I understand that they probably wanted to say, hey, it's the first Latin superhero, even though we had America Chavez. And she wasn't well liked either. So I think still to this day, we have not had a well-liked movie with a Latin main character. It's unfortunate, as far as superheroes is concerned. So we'll see. We'll see how it does this week, but the numbers are projected very, very poorly. It's projected to finally knock Barbie out of the top, even though that movie's been in the theaters now for how long? For a month. So this movie's finally going to possibly knock that out. But to have a $30 million opening for a superhero film is not good. It is not good. And I don't think internationally this is going to do anything. The Latin market for films of this size are not good. I mean, your Latin market is very niche, very very niche. You know, it's this big. In fact, I think your black market is bigger. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. You know, like I said, Miss Bala did very very poorly, and that was coming off a main actress that had done a very very popular television show for years. And this is, of course, coming off Cobra Kai, but I think Cobra Kai is even more niche than I forgot the name of Virgin, something the Virgin. So yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see how it does, but overall, I got to break this up. Let me break up my review. So acting, very good for what they had. I wish that they had more. I really wish they had more. There was a scene with him and his dad that was good. You know, the family dynamic was okay, but got very, very silly, where they brought the family into the battle, and you saw that in the trailer, where the grandmother is holding this Gatling gun that's futuristic, and she would never have had the ability of doing that, no matter if she was a freedom fighter or not. And the special effects were decent. I can't point out any Flash type really bad effects, so that's good. But I had more connection, even though the Flash, played by Ezra Miller, everybody hated him. I had more connection to that film than this one. So I don't know. And then, you know, we get into this Batcave type of thing, and it all looks silly. And then the sister ends up getting this glove that does like shields and stuff like that, and it's literally a PlayStation glove where you can see the PlayStation controller on it. It's bad. It is bad. And so acting good, effects decent. It all comes down to the directing and the script. That's what destroys this film. So those two were the bad portion of it. And of course, Angel came out, you know, with the Batman's a fascist line in the trailer. You know, he came out when everybody was pushing back on that, and he said, "My work is done, baby. I piss people off. Woo, look at me. I lose people. Yeah. I piss you off, baby. Yeah." That's how he came out on social media. That's going to endear people to your project, especially when you have to get out of the Latin market. You have to hit the white and black audience. Because if you don't, I left out Asian out of that, but you have to hit all those other cultures to come to your film, or else your film's losing money. So for you to come out and say, "Yeah, baby, I pissed you off. Look at me," and there was way major backlash on that. And when the movie was starting to come out, he realized when the numbers started to come out, he came out and said, "Please come see my film. Please, mister, come see my film." So he changed his whole direction on social media because he realized that pissing people off is probably not the best way for him to get another gig. These people need to... me as a producer, if I had these actors and directors and things like that that were all about whatever message they were pushing rather than the project, I would give them all gag orders. Sign here. Social media is off limits to you on anything with the film. Just off limits. If you talk about the film on social media in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to sue you. Because between Rachel Zegler and this guy, they destroy their own films. Before it even comes out, everybody's like, "Yeah, I don't like you, so I'm not going to see you." It's sales. I don't understand why people don't get this. It's sales. You're selling yourself. And this is how Sound of Freedom exploded. Because Jim Caviezel and Tim Bradford, I forgot his name, the actual agent, did all these reviews, did all these interviews and things to that effect, and people are like, we like you, we like your message, we're going to come see you, we're going to support you. And that's how that film blew up. On the other side, we have people going, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, don't come see my film. You know, it's the whole Charlie's Angels thing with Elizabeth Banks. I don't need you, you suck, you're a man, we don't come see my film. And then all of a sudden they call and say, well, your film failed. That's because no men came to see my film. It's the same thing here. Angel's like, you know what, go fuck yourself. And then we say, okay, you go fuck yourself. And then they're like, no, I really didn't mean that. I really didn't mean that. It's all white people's fault because you guys didn't show up to my Latin film. And I'm really waiting for that to pop up. So social media for, the end result is for social media for these creative types that really want to push their narrative, they need to stop. If they want to have a job in the future, they need to stop. They need to stop pissing people off. They need to endear people. And I'm going to do a review on, Gal Gadot versus Rachel Zegler and how they handle interviews. Because I think that Rachel Zegler is going to be the .2 person about how to not deal with the media. I think in the future everybody's going to bring up all of her interviews and say, yeah, don't do this. And if you don't know who she is, then you haven't been on the internet at all, but she's the future Snow White and future Hunger Games. That's the direction I want to take for my other my look at her and what she's going to be destroying. But anyway, overall, I'm going to give Blue Beetle a 4.5. It was just not enjoyable. I really went in there hoping that this was going to be a diamond in the rough, that this was going to help DC. I'm really rooting for James Gunn, although he's really not doing a good job at this point endearing anyone to him. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think he did a great job with that, creating a B-level group, probably C-level, and elevating them to A. And I'm really hoping that he takes that formula and applies it to Superman without the jokey stuff. I mean, there are some Donner was able to do some funny stuff with Superman and still make it, great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with all superhero films. But again, we have a character that's not well liked in comics, and I don't think it's not going to be elevated here. So it's what it is. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to like and subscribe. I think I'm going to get monetized here this week. So thank you all for watching and supporting my stuff. And as far as supporting my writing, my new book, The Iron Witch, from the Tales of Rabador series, is released. I'm going to put it on my store shortly, but it is already on Amazon. And I believe that almost all of my donors have all received theirs already. I'm hoping to start getting some more reviews. My reviews on Amazon have been good so far. And then we have Lords of L.A., my vampire mob in the 50s, a little bit more adult-based, so it's more like True Blood. And the next issue is being done right now, and I'm going to be launching that on Kickstarter shortly. But I've been, trying to get myself acclimated here into Atlanta, especially with the strikes going on. Damn, my timing sucks. I did pick up a film in Michigan, so I didn't even pick up a film here. I picked one in Michigan. Of course, it's going to be non-union, so it's going to be a little bit lower budget. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think. And did you like it? If so, why? Let me know what you liked about it. and tell me I'm wrong. I'm very happy to hear that I'm wrong and people are enjoying this film. Because again, I like to support all superhero films, and I would love for this to do well, even if I didn't enjoy it. So thanks a lot, guys, and have a good one.